Saying Transformers is a fandom that I have both a medically and financially inadvisable obsession with is pretty much like saying the sky's blue at this point in my life. My literal only reason for not hating driving your trucks on the freeway is because one of them might turn out to be Ultra Magnus, which is why it frustrates me that the media of this franchise isn't taken remotely seriously. Transformers does have some really good media, but when most people hear the word Transformers, they think of the face-ripping, incoherently violent, actually explaining age of consent loopholes in a fucking action film bullshit that most mainstream attention tends to accentuate. And this does primarily come from a director with a bulletproof ego who doesn't know when to fucking stop. But that doesn't mean he didn't know what he was doing at all here. The visual elements of the live-action films did a fucking fantastic job, showing off the sheer terror and power behind giant 40 to 50 foot tall mechanical beings, and attracted a new fan base into the televised media out at the time, becoming the direct inspiration for shows like Transformers Prime. These films pioneered some of the greatest visuals physically possible for a film that was made in 2007 that still looked good by today's standards 14 and a half years later, pushing what was even possible for the technology of its time to its limit, and helping to bring back a dying fan base from becoming a part of antiquated obscurity once the TV shows started to lose their sense of direction when the Unicron trilogy ended. There were even some interesting themes in terms of storytelling in these movies, like how human bureaucracy gets in the way of fighting against the Decepticons, how private companies would literally profiteer off the Cybertronian corpses in spite of them saving the planet multiple times because they think they can make them cheaper and better, and even watching the collateral damage of their fighting, devastating people into hating them for their raw power, are all some fantastic ideas on paper. Obnoxious YouTube personalities like might have you convinced that Bayverse bastardized the franchise, and being a fan of anything except G1 lacks any nuanced artistic integrity, but I believe that Michael Bay, in a sense, saved this franchise from obscurity. It wasn't always high art, no, it definitely wasn't, but it had its role and understood its demographic. Edgy teenagers who just finished the Unicron trilogy, who now wanted something realistic and violent to look forward to watching, and sometimes that's all you really need with a blockbuster film. But the demographic changes into a fully grown cult of man-children who complain about everything on Twitter. I refuse to call that shit X, by the way, have lived as a grown-up generation with beyond 6th grade media literacy, and now our ungrateful asses want a fully fleshed out story taking place entirely on Cybertron for a change. So surely Transformers 1's trailer will bring hope, inspiration, and hype back into seeing a Transformers film again after 8 fucking films in the same universe because they refuse to accept that this shit's a reboot at this point in the ball game.
12 seconds later.
Holy shit! The marketing team behind this fuckery needs to be sent into space by a fucking Boeing rocket and rescued by Elon Musk to make it fucking worse! This Illumination, family-friendly, lowest common denominator-looking minions-ass bullshit with its cheap, well that just happened style of quips and piss-poor line delivery really killed any enthusiasm I would have had for this film. There's reorienting your style of filmmaking to a different style that's more appealing to a younger demographic, but this is not the way to do it! The reason I love shows like Season 1 of Transformers Earthspark is because of its grounded exploration of real-world themes like bigotry, racism, identity, culture, and family, while also still being a good Transformers show that made the bots the core element of the show and still felt like somewhat of a war was going on. But most of all, it felt relatable and grounded in some degree of reality. And when we had to suspend our disbelief, at least it was done with insanity. But Season 2 kidified it and played it safe so much that it lost all of my interest in the process, and the Transformers 1 trailer does very much the same thing, showing the cheapest one-liners and flattest line delivery of the entire film with the usual bland explosions and Start Me Up for some fucking reason playing as a song behind the trailer? Is it because this is the start of the franchise? Is it because Engine Go Burr? Thanks! It's stupid!
Oh boy, Hasbro just keeps hitting the home runs!
Why does this trailer suck? think Michael Bay has left so much of a signature stain through excessive toilet humor, generic sex jokes, and incoherent robot violence that Hasbro decided to do some quote-unquote quality control and let the parents know that kids could also tolerate that. And I think that's shit. You can't undo the damage done by an overall bad franchise by taking a U-turn in the opposite direction and making it look soulless and generic, but hey, it's kid-friendly. Kids aren't fucking stupid! Hasbro has always had a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes Transformers media so inspiring and keeps people into this hobby for so long. It's the characters we grow up with. It's how they interact, what their stories are, and how we can expand upon those characters in interesting ways. And this insulting shit pile of a movie trailer lets you know that absolutely none of that will be in this film. Hey kids, Stibbity Toilet Ohio Riz, fuck you, we don't respect your intelligence. When I said kids aren't stupid, it means they can identify a bad product when they see one. But the problem is that this trailer made the movie look like it was gonna be a bad product when it turned out to be a fantastic movie. And I don't mean that with the asterisk of for a Transformers film. I mean objectively, it was one of the best animated films we've gotten all fucking year. So why is the fucking Sing 2 trailer a more accurate depiction of what you're gonna get when you get to the fucking theater? Illumination did better marketing than a fucking Transformers movie. 15-year-olds are making TikTok mashups that are better than multi-million-dollar marketing efforts. How in the fuck does that happen? Well, it's because Paramount doesn't give a fuck. Paramount has started to take their multi-billion-dollar property severely for granted lately. They didn't do shit to advertise Earthspark Season 3, but guess what premieres in less than a fucking week from the day that I am recording this shit? Yep, Transformers Earthspark Season 3 is coming. Did anyone fucking know? No? Probably not. Fuck you! And that's probably because they didn't bother releasing the trailer for Earthspark Season 3 until 10 days before it was supposed to fucking premiere! They're so used to being able to just sit there with their thumb up their ass and watch the money get raked in with absolutely no fucking effort that the one time they put in an effort, they didn't give a fuck! There is a silver lining to this thing, fucking god, that came out much later than when I started recording this. Apparently, the production costs of the movie are being split between Hasbro's media, Hasbro's toy sales, and Paramount. So, there is still some godforsaken hope that we'll get the sequel that we all fucking deserve. So do yourself a favor. Give Transformers 1 a chance. Even if you're not a fan of Transformers, even if you think that all of the most bullshit components of the Michael Bay films are the only thing to them, give this film a real shot. Because it fucking deserves it.